Hey guys, this week's project comes from the Amazing Digital Circus, and for those of you who haven't seen the thumbnail, I'll be attempting none other than Ragatha. I was inspired after I had an idea to make her look absolutely epic, so with no time to waste, let's get straight into it. For this project, I'm using acrylic yarn in a light blue, a medium blue, a navy, beige, red and white. You will of course need a few more items, including a button, but I will list everything that I used in the description box below. I actually began making her shoes and legs off camera, if only to make the video a tad shorter. But notice that I chose to use the navy instead of brown for her shoes, because to be fair, I liked it better. I wanted to go with a more monochromatic look, which I feel will make the red of the hair stand out just that much more. To make the legs, I started with a circle, and then after my colour change, just continued to crochet until I reached a length I was happy with. I also glued a wooden circle disc at the bottom of the shoes, well, maybe the soles of her feet, to make it as flat as I possibly could. Once I had both legs done, I joined them together and carried on crocheting the hips. I was a little worried at first that I may have made her legs a bit too thick, but you know what? I'm not mad at it. I actually kind of like it and I'm happy with them. I may have also just stumbled upon just a slight shift to my style as well, because I will be doing these type of legs again. Just warning you now. I then made a little crafting detour to crochet the skirt before beginning on the arms. To do this, I turned around the legs and crocheted the skirt while changing colours at random spots, creating the patchwork effect she has on her dress. Because of the crochet stitches, I won't have to manually sew any extra decorative stitches, and no sewing is always a plus for me. The pattern of the colour change gives me the same effect for free, so yay! This is the one time I'm actually happy that you can see the pattern change. After finishing the skirt, I carried on up the torso until I was ready to install the arms. I again made the arms off camera in an effort to keep this video short, and to be honest, there's nothing really different. It's just a tube with minor tweaks. I gave her puffy sleeves, and on one of them I used the same patchwork effect I used on the skirt by doing the colour change to the navy and back again. I wanted to use the light blue for the sort of frilly details on the sleeve instead of the white, because in the end I felt it looked better. Plus, it was in keeping with the monochrome effect I was aiming for anyway. After the arms were done and installed, I carried on up to crochet the head. I stopped part way up the head to come back and do her collar. For this, I just chained enough stitches to go around her neck and then used half double crochet stitches to go back down that chain. Super simple. I then sewed on the collar, making sure to place it facing the right way, since her front and back look fairly identical right now. There's not even a foot shape to give a clear indication, so do bear this in mind. So I picked the side I simply liked best and made that the front. With that decision made, I carried on to finish up the head. With the head finished, I next added some ears to the side of her head. After that came the face details. I crocheted an oval using the white acrylic yarn and used one of my 10mm safety eyes for her left eye. I then sewed on a blue button with some black yarn for the right eye. She's coming together. But just a quick disclaimer here, I also added on her crooked smile, which you will see at the end, because without it I was low-key getting Fraggle Rock vibes. But either way, I think she looks cute both with and without the smile. For the bow on her head, I just crocheted a really simple one. I chained stitches to the size equal to the width of the bow that I wanted, divided the number of stitches into 3 sections and made sure that the sections at both ends were equal. I then half double crocheted to the middle. Once I got to the middle section, I used slip stitches, and then I went back to the half double crochet for the last section. I chained 1, and then from here crocheted in the back loops only and slip stitched in the middle section, and so on. You should then end up with a cinched bow that looks similar to mine, or at least something like it. Anyway, I just repeated that for a few more rows and then wrapped some yarn around the middle, tied it off and left a tail to sew onto the head later. It's finally time for the hair, and oh my god, this took some time. I started off by crocheting a wig cap that would act as a base for what's to come. Next, with the red yarn, red pipe cleaners and my trusted I-cord majiggy thingy, I got to work making various lengths of yarn rope. I did this mostly off camera because I just needed to have Netflix on and just power through in a comfortable sitting position. This took a while, and I mean, when I say a while, I mean several days. Eventually, I ended up with this mess. But first things first, I had to get one end of the loose tail to the other side. You can of course just sew it in and then cut it off, but I opted for threading it through to the other side. I then proceeded to sew each individual rope piece onto the wig cap. The benefit of having the pipe cleaners as the core makes each one bendable, which will help me shape the hair later. Let's just say I had a vision, guys, and at times I doubted it, and telling myself to trust the process just made it seem worse somehow. But you know what? I didn't give up. So right until the end, it just seemed to get worse, to the point that I was contemplating using one of my 2 backup plans. But wow, I'm glad I stuck with it because I love the results so much, which you are so close to seeing. So yay me. So anyway guys, while you watch me finish up the wig cap, and before we get to the reveal, I'd just like to say thank you for watching. I really enjoyed making Ragatha, and not just because it gave me an excuse to re-watch episodes while I crocheted away. So far, that's Jax and Ragatha down. Do let me know if you'd like to see any more characters. I've no idea how we'll do them, and please let me know what you think of her hair. Did I make the right choice? Were my efforts in vain? Would you try this yourself? And of course, you can let me know if you didn't like it too, with reasons why. I'm just curious, so please let me know. So anyway, if you'd like to see more, then please like, share, comment, and even consider subscribing. If you are feeling generous, then also please consider buying me a cup of coffee on Ko-fi. The link to my Ko-fi page will be included in the description box below, and any and all donations will be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to hit that bell button to be notified whenever I upload a new video. Anyway, it's nearly adventure time. Enjoy the beauty shots, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!